Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been about a month or longer since I've posted on here on YouTube, and that video was only a part one of my health update, in which I have not been able to post part two of that video that I've been wanting to film and be able to upload. But in the last month, a lot has been going on between my mental health, my physical health and well-being, with my medical conditions, which has not gotten any better. Also, we had a loss. My grandpa died actually 2 weeks from tomorrow is when he died. So we're going through that as well. And then another one is the loss of a job. So I'll be talking about some of those briefly in this video, but I know this is not really an exciting video because it's not really a happy time right now. My grandpa that died was my mom's dad, and I wasn't really close to him. My siblings and I weren't, just because my grandparents on my mom's side live in Virginia. That's where like all 95% of my family lives. So we just never really gotten that chance to become close or grow up and be raised around them. But that still doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It is sad, especially seeing my mom go through losing her dad. She was close with him as a kid and then a teen because she had me at 17. So like 18 when she moved out. That's when we moved to Michigan. And so ever since then, there's not been really like a close knit like family unit, just because of being 9-10 hours away from them. But it still hurt her because over the last probably 2 years, she's gotten a lot closer to her mom and dad. And then it's just unfortunate that he died. So he died of congestive heart failure. And he had a lot of problems with that, his liver and some other medical conditions. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I know congestive heart failure was one of the big reasonings of his death. He died at the age of 76, I believe, 75 or 76. So he lived a long life, but it still is very, very sad. I think the hardest part, I'm trying not to cry, I'm sorry. The hardest part is just seeing my mom have to lose her dad. And losing your parent, you're never prepared for. And I guess this loss has just opened my eyes to a lot with death, I guess you could say. I never really thought about it as, like, obviously we're all going to die someday, and that's part of life, but I didn't realize how deep it really can get. And my grandma now is still in Virginia, living in her home all by herself. We have family in Virginia, like I said, that comes to visit her each day, so she's not alone, but financially we just can't afford to go down and visit all the time at all. So I went down, the last time I was down was in 2010. And then we did go down, my mom, my stepdad, my brother, myself, and my son all rode down with my mom to go to the funeral. We just got back, actually, last Friday. We stayed for 5 days. And so we were at the funeral, and the visitation, the burial. And it was good to be able to see family and stuff like that. But it was just, I wouldn't have been able to afford it on my own. So I was grateful that my mom and my stepdad was able to basically pay for the hotel and all the gas. And I just had to pay for my own food, which was really a blessing because I haven't seen my family. This was the first time in 13 years. My husband has never met my family in Virginia just because we've never been able to afford it. Like, we would love for him to meet them, but I don't have the money for gas right now, hotel, food, things like that, because it's a big expense, and it's almost a 10-hour drive to get there, or a little longer if you do stops and stuff like that. So it's not like a quick trip in just a few hours. So it takes a lot of preparing, and right now things are just not cheap. So that was an unexpected loss, but yet expected at the same time. We just didn't know it was going to be that soon. He's been in and out of the hospital for the last year or two, probably the last 2 years, and his health has just slowly and slowly declined. Then all of a sudden, it quickly declined. He checked himself out of the hospital when he probably shouldn't have, but he was in there so long that I think he was just done fighting and he wanted to go home and be in the comfort of his own home, which I can understand because hospitals aren't the most comfortable and you don't feel at home, obviously. So I do understand why he wanted to check himself out, but in the end, I think it didn't benefit him because obviously he's gone now and passed away, but he was just done fighting. And sometimes when people are done fighting, it's just time to let go, no matter how sad it is. I'm sad for my grandma because she's all alone down there, and it's just unfortunate that my mom and I, we can't really go down anytime soon, and I wish we could have that relationship like grandparents usually do. Like, my son got to meet his great-grandma, my grandma, got to meet her, and a lot of my family. My aunt and my cousin also went down. They got down there probably a day or two before we ended up arriving. So it was like a big family gathering, which is unfortunate that it has to be a get-together when there's a funeral, which is just very sad. I hate that it has to be like that, and I just wish finances wasn't a big part in being able to visit my family. But I'm just going to try not to cry in this video because there's a lot of emotions that I'm going through between the loss of my grandpa and then just my health and then jobs. So another topic that I want to talk about, and I'm sorry that this is just not an uplifting, happy video, and my videos lately haven't been, but the last 2 years honestly has been the biggest, hardest, longest journey of my life, if I'm being honest. So the last update I have, I don't know if I reported it, but I was working at an OBGYN office as a medical assistant, and I worked there for, I think about a month actually, and I enjoyed it and everything. I ended up, I think I worked there about 3 weeks to a month, and jobs before that haven't been working out for me or lasting. And it's not because I give up, it's not because I'm a bad worker, and it's not because I don't show up purposely. It's just my health has really declined. I have 2 autoimmune disorders. I have lupus and I have Hashimoto's. And what I'm about to explain is not excuses for why I'm not working. It's the reality of why I can't work. So I have lupus and Hashimoto's and a ton of other issues, medical wise. And so when it comes to having a job, you have to be consistent. You have to not miss any days. You have to pick up on learning the job fast. So one thing that I suffer with having both my autoimmune disorders that comes with a side effect of these issues is short-term, like kind of like memory loss. Not where I don't remember altogether. It's like I am forgetful and I'm not able to, how do I say this? I'm not able to retain information as quickly as people would hope for. Like this job that I had, they wanted me to pick up quicker than I was, and I thought I was doing good enough, but clearly it wasn't good enough for their standards. So when it comes to that, that job, probably and the other 2 jobs before that were only short term as well, probably a month or 2, and it looks so bad on me. Like, it's kind of ruined my self-esteem, and it's made me look, I feel like it's made me look bad. Like, I feel like I'm a loser. I can't get my shit together, if I'm being honest. And it just makes me look like I'm not trying and I'm lazy. But a lot of people don't understand, with your health, you don't choose your fate. Your health, it just chooses you, and you're stuck with it. There's no cure for lupus, there's no cure for Hashimoto's, and there's no cure for almost any sickness you have when it comes to like something that's permanent. It's not like it's a temporary fix. So like my memory is so bad. Like I'll be talking, for instance, to my husband, and I'll be starting to talk, and then I'll be like, oh, wait, what was I going to say? Because I keep forgetting all the time, and it's something that I can't help. So In other words, the job just kind of wasn't working out because I couldn't quite remember things. So I guess they basically fired me for, you want to say, but they didn't call it that. She said, we decided to let you go because you're not picking up quick enough and catching on to the job like we would have hoped for somebody. And I understood, but it just felt like they did it in a sneaky way, because it was on a Wednesday that we were finishing up our work day, and the lady that hired me said, okay, tomorrow, which would have been on Thursday, she's like, I'll text you to let you know if we need you Friday, because Thursday we don't need you because there's only one doctor that will be in the office that day instead of all three. So I thought, okay, that was real. But come to find out, all three doctors were working and they were just trying to get rid of me. And there's ways behind of how I know. But on Wednesday, she's like, well, Thursday we won't need you, which would have been that next day. She's like, we only have one doctor, so we won't need you. And then Fridays were our half days, which was like 8 to noon or 1. That's how every Friday was. So she, on Thursday night, texted me and said, we won't need you Friday. But then, which I find it very rude that she waited 5-6 hours later that evening, because on Friday it was around 2:00 p.m. when she let me know that she wouldn't need me for Friday. But like 5-6 hours later in the evening, she ended up texting me and saying, we decided that we aren't going to move forward and keep you because you're not catching on as quick enough as we would like. And I just felt like that was unprofessional. You could have called me. You could have gave me like maybe a talk at the office to let me know that I wasn't catching on quickly enough, or, kind of like talk to me and say, I want to give you a chance, something like that. I just felt like overall it was honestly bullshit, if I'm being honest with you. You could have at least had a talk with me before this happened to kind of like give me a chance. And I explained when I first started the job that I have kind of like short-term memory issues and it takes me a little bit to catch on to things, and that they were very aware of that. I made sure to tell her specifically. It took them a month of me interviewing for them to hire me. And it's like, I feel like they just hired me because it was like their only person that they could find. And weird enough, I actually seen them today, speaking of, post an article on Indeed that they're still looking for somebody. And I lost this job probably 2 months ago. Can't remember exactly, but that just goes to show, like, I've heard people say that this office particularly, goes through employees like none other. So it wasn't just me. The place doesn't offer health insurance, doesn't offer 401k. You don't get vacation time. You don't get PTO. And requesting off for appointments is very rare to get approved, which I think that is wrong, because we work the same office hours as a doctor's office. And I get that. Doctors have to have certain hours and people to be there. And Fridays are half days, but oddly enough, my family doctor that I have to see every 2 months is the same exact hours on a Friday, 8 to noon. So I'm not able to go to appointments. And that was not the case when I had my interview. I was told doctor's appointments are okay as long as you bring in a note, saying that's where you were. I was fine to do that because I have plenty of doctor's notes and doctors that I see that I could get and brought in. So I feel like it was a cowardly way out to not exactly tell me to my face that you're letting me go, or to like give me a chance, but instead you text me that. And so I never replied back. I just read it, let it go, moved on, because I'm not about drama. I'm not about causing a scene. I was actually really like pissed off, if I'm being honest. And so reading that, I was just upset. And then it just made me think like the other jobs before I've had that job. So the job or two before it as well ended up in the same kind of like in the same boat. My memory is so bad that it has like had a hold on me being able to succeed. And a lot of people just gossip all the time and say like I'm just lazy, I don't want to work, I make up excuses that I don't have all this stuff wrong with me when I do. I don't understand how some people could make up lies and say that they have health problems or memory problems when they don't. Like, I've never been one to ever lie about my health. I'm an open book. I'm honest when it comes to my health problems. And I like to just bring awareness to what I'm going through just in case somebody else feels alone. Because I feel like I'm alone in this as well. Even though I'm not, but I just feel like a lot of people in my life can't relate to it because they're not going through it. And I only have like one or two good friends. I don't see both of them on a regular just because life is so busy. But it feels like I'm just failing at life and that I'm just not important or I can't hold a job, which my husband works. He started his job a few months back and he loves it. He's a cook at a restaurant and he's been working and we've been able to stay caught up on our bills finally. We've had blessings in our life in the last 1 or 2 months. So the loss of that job wasn't like the end all of everything with our bills. I was doing DoorDash on the side before he was able to get a job because when I lost my job, it was just me working at the time because we only have one vehicle and our timings of working wasn't lining up to where we could share the car and get to work and back at the same time, if that makes sense. And so I was doing DoorDash on the side, just trying to make some extra money. But a month or two ago, we got like a big blessing with something in our life with bills. I don't really want to go into depth about it because it's our business and anybody can see this video. And I just don't want people to think of it as somebody handed us money. It wasn't somebody we know. It was an organization. So we got help with that because we were really behind and there was just no way we were going to get caught up. It was to the point where a lot of things were starting to crumble. I'm not going to go into detail because people are nosy, people are rude, people are judgmental, and people just don't give a damn. They'd rather just gossip about you, and that's just the God's honest truth. And so I decided after that job, well, my husband and I, we had to talk about it, and we figured everything out, and he's just going to be the one to work, and then I'll just be the one that stays home. So I am actually going to be applying for disability. I just have to get help on that because I don't know the first thing about applying and what things I need, how many jobs I need to go back and figure out of where I've worked because I don't remember every single job, especially with my memory being so bad. It's going to take a while. And I know that sounds bad. Over the last couple, probably 2 or 3 years, I've had a lot of jobs, but they've all been back to back, but they haven't lasted long because it's the same damn issue every single time I get a job. I'm not catching on quick enough and my health is just declining. I'm not as fast as I once was. Like when you're a medical assistant, you have to be fast. You have to be go, 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 like run from room to room to room to help doctor do this, help doctor do that, grab him this, grab this doctor, her stuff she needs for this room, and put all this information in the computer. And it's just so fast paced that it was exhausting me at the end of the day. But that job that the OBGYN office, I worked there for about a month or so, but I never asked for a day off. I was never late. And I never didn't come in. I was always there. So they can't use that attendance as an issue of me being fired or let go. She said, I wasn't firing you, but I'm letting you go because we just feel you aren't catching on quick enough. And that's just the nice way of saying you're fired. So I just feel like when I applied for the job and when I was face to face in the interview with her, I told her all of my health issues and what's to be expected. And if you hire me, that's on you. And that I wanted to be upfront and honest with you before starting the job because I wouldn't like if somebody did that to me. But by law, you can't discriminate or not hire somebody based on their religion, their beliefs, their health, so on and so forth. So they gave me that chance, I guess you would say. But I don't miss working there, because everybody was just such big on gossip, and even reading past employee reviews on Indeed and other websites online, they're rated a 2-star out of 5. And right there, I should have looked into it of the high turnover rates and reviews before I ended up accepting the job. And that was partially a little bit of my fault, because if a place is losing employees back to back to back, and it's a high turnover rate, then there's something wrong with the company. And not every job is like that, I understand, but this job was really, really bad at doing that, especially when you tell somebody about your health problems and they just don't give a shit. And then they just say that it's okay, but then let you go because you're not quick enough. My memory is really bad, so it's like when it comes to like, oh, what things I have to do today, if I don't write them down, I'm not going to remember them. If appointments are coming up, I have to have a calendar on the wall and write it down at that exact time, or I will not remember it, and then it'll slip my mind. Like, I've missed so many appointments not on purpose. I've just forgot to write them down when I've called to make that appointment. And so now I have a calendar that hangs on my wall in the kitchen, and then I have a pocket calendar that is in my purse. So it's easy just to grab from my purse, and then I can just transfer the information over to the kitchen calendar. But the next thing I wanted to talk about is my mental health and my physical health. So a month ago, I had a visit with my psychiatrist, since it was probably 6 months since I've been to see him, and I haven't been on any medication for it until a month ago. That's when I started. He put me on Wellbutrin, which honestly I haven't even noticed a difference. I don't even notice I take it. I take it every day consistently. I never forget it, and it's always in like my little circle pill box with Sunday through Saturday, where I take that medication and I don't forget. Same time every day. And it just seems like nothing is helping. Like, it's just so bad to where it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to have the energy to shower. I have the worst brain fog. I don't have the motivation to do anything. And it's survival from day to day. And I just feel like I'm failing somewhere, and I'm not sure why medications aren't working for me. It's like so many medications I've tried. I've tried Celexa. I've tried Prozac. I've tried many different things. Lexapro. I've tried Wellbutrin in the past. I've tried, I can't even think of them, like any of those in that same category of like Celexa, Prozac, Wellbutrin, all those categories, the same meds in that category I've tried, and nothing has helped. So I feel like these medications just aren't working. He did a gene study, blood draw test. No, it was a mouth swab, a saliva test that about a year ago that would show him categories of what meds would work the best with my DNA. So it was like a green, red, and a yellow category. So he picked a med that was in the green category, and I've tried, this is probably the third one I've tried with him in that green column that shows that these